Hey guys, welcome to my channel, Moving to Fort Myers, Florida. I'm Jessica Gatewood, and here we talk about all of the must-knows about where to live and the best schools, everything you need to know before you make the move to our beautiful city of Fort Myers. In my last video, I talked about the best place to live in Fort Myers, and in that one we did a real big overview of gated communities versus deed restricted communities, and then living in the city limits versus living in just the county. So today I'm going to dive into more of specific neighborhoods. I'm going to give you a comparison of downtown Fort Myers versus North Fort Myers, which is just other opposite sides of the river. All right, let's start with downtown Fort Myers. Obviously, downtown Fort Myers is on the south side of the river and is a riverfront community, a typical downtown community where it's walkable with restaurants and shops, and there's some parks. Right in downtown, you'll have mostly apartment living. So that's, above the restaurants, above the shops, and those are just leases. If you get just outside of the main river district of downtown Fort Myers, you have the waterfront high rises. There's multiple beautiful high rise communities right on the riverfront throughout downtown Fort Myers and just outside of downtown, which is still very walkable to the downtown community. I think my favorite part about the riverfront community would be the walkability. I always tell my husband that once our kids are grown, that's where we're going to go, to the condo living in downtown where we can walk everywhere, because driving is like my least favorite thing to do. So living in downtown, you definitely could walk to the grocery store, you can walk to restaurants, you can walk down to the park. We also there's two bridges that come from North Fort Myers and come into downtown Fort Myers. The more easterly bridge, the Edison Bridge, has a walking or biking path that is separated from the roadway with a concrete barrier. So that's awesome. And you can walk or bike into North Fort Myers. Lots of people use that for their morning daily exercise. It's a beautiful view and a great way to start or end the day. There's also Centennial Park downtown, which they just recently renovated the playground area, and it's awesome. My kids love it. It's fully fenced in, so you have that safety aspect for parents of toddlers that like to just run. They also recently added a amphitheater right on the riverfront, so that's awesome. There's concerts and food festivals, food trucks, and fun stuff like that. Also, downtown Fort Myers has monthly art walks and monthly music walks. Those are two different Fridays of each month. You have local vendors and artists displaying their talents on the street. They do shut down the street, so it's a walking festival, draws a huge crowd. It's a lot of fun for the whole family. As far as living downtown is concerned, there are parking garages that do monthly programs, so you can do that. There is street parking that they did just recently take away the free street parking. So all the street parking is also paid, but there's lots of parking, and it's not a huge downtown to where you're going to be walking multiple blocks from the parking garage to get to where you want to go. So it's definitely a really walkable city. All right, now I'm going to jump over to North Fort Myers, which is the north side of the river and spans east all the way past 75, a couple miles, and then you'll get to Alva and East Fort Myers area, which I'll touch on a later date. North Fort Myers is known more for its suburban community. It is very agricultural oriented and also equestrian oriented. Now, when you do come straight out of downtown Fort Myers into North Fort Myers, you will have more of the community feelings. There are gated communities, there are non-gated communities, but once you start heading east out towards 75, you get more of the agricultural acreage living where you have livestock and that sort of thing. North Fort Myers is seeing a ton of growth in the last few years. We have lots of new gated communities, including the Brightwater Lagoon community, which is near the interstate. We have some new Lennar communities coming to Bayshore Road. Even closer to the downtown area, we do have an equestrian community called Hidden Acres, where they have a horse barn and pastures, which is awesome because it's really in the heart of the city. It's great for commuting if you still want to have that ag feel. In North Fort Myers, it's not its own city, so you have the benefit of county taxes only, so your cost of living is a little bit better in North Fort Myers as opposed to Fort Myers where you have the city of Fort Myers taxing and the county taxing. Also in North Fort Myers, you have less stringent property restrictions. So you can do your parking of your work vehicles. You can park your boat, your RV, that sort of thing. Now, obviously within the communities, you will have restrictions. So it's important to do the research on the specific area that you're looking in. But if you're looking to have less restrictions, North Fort Myers is a great place to look into. North Fort Myers is home to the Lee Civic Center, which is the home for lots of events throughout the year, arts and craft shows, gun shows, the Southwest Florida Fair every year. It's really an awesome central venue, and you get a lot of great festivals and fairs that happen there. North Fort Myers also has a lot of nature trails that the county has been adding, so you can get out with the pets or the kids and go explore and see, some of the more peaceful aspects of our community. Now, as far as work and commuting is concerned, North Fort Myers is not a real big business district, so you would have a commute. And as I mentioned, the growth is pretty quick right now, and our roads are not really cut out for the growth that we've experienced now. They are working to get things moving, literally and figuratively, but there are some longer commute times out of North Fort Myers than most of us are used to. Now, coming from bigger cities, even, just to our north, like Tampa, Orlando, you would probably come here and laugh at what we call traffic, but it is important to recognize that there are longer commute times out of North Fort Myers into Cape Coral or Fort Myers for work. All right, I think I've given you a pretty good overview of our downtown Fort Myers versus North Fort Myers and the two very different types of neighborhood and living conditions that you will get if you choose to make either of those cities your home. If you have any questions, you can leave them below and I will dive into more details for you. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe, and I will see you next time where we'll dive into even more depth on the great neighborhoods to live in Fort Myers, Florida. I'll see you soon.